Backs was going to go in for Coleman. That's it. Same D. He'll just go right into that spot, as a matter of fact, in terms of the lines. Pasta's going to start with Berge and Marsh. So that's Coyle, Hyman, Johansson on the bottom. Three will stay the same.
Over the last, I don't know how many years, guys, you see a lot of guys on the ice in regular season, in warm-ups. I know you don't necessarily watch them. There's a lot of chit-chat between some of the younger players. It's kind of changed. Does that get more serious in the playoffs? Do you, as a coach, do you see as much guys talking back and forth during the playoffs at whistles or stuff like that?
I don't notice, to tell you the truth. It's not like I don't want to answer, but it's not something I look for. I don't notice it unless it's obvious. So whether that stems a little in the playoffs, I assume it does. I mean, we've got a player that's playing for Columbus, Riley Nash. He was with us for 2 years. Popular guy, but listen, we're trying to hit him and knock him off the puck, and he's clearly doing the same. So I think that just gets forgotten about for 2 weeks. And the beauty of the game is when it's over, there's a mutual respect, you hope for each other. And I think that's the same with young and old guys. I think the younger guys do play together a lot more before they enter the league in those, the under 18 team's a good example, or those, any of those type World Junior team, have always been, there's more of those situations where they're together, so I think they form friendships before they get to the league. Whereas in the past, there weren't as many of those teams. Well, we went through it a couple weeks ago. We were down. I think our guys will be ready. We're a resilient group. I don't want to say it's do or die, because it's not. But clearly you don't want to go down 2. I think that's evident. I think our guys understand what's at stake. If you look at it, it's just one game. If it goes our way, it's the best 2 out of 3. We have home ice advantage. That's a good spot to be in. So that's but our focus is going to stay on tonight's game. But that's what's at stake if we win, which is a lot better scenario than being down 2. So that's as simple as we can make it. I think we'll be ready.
Good.
What's the matter, Joe?
Nothing, Coach.
Okay.
All right. McAvoy has really elevated his play. Just one, how can the guys kind of feed off of that? And 2, this is kind of what you've expected of him.
Well, we certainly, I don't know if expect, we want him to bring his A game every night. He had it the other night. Makes a big impact because he can play at both ends. He's not just a guy that's going to be a power play guy when he's on. He is a puck mover. He can score, but it's also the defensive part of the game. He's tasked every night with playing against the other team's top line. For a young guy, I can get in the way sometimes of your energy level for the offensive end. So if he can balance both, now you're talking about an elite defenseman. And most teams that advance and win, they need that. And then you look at our lineup, we're missing a couple of guys that we rely on to defend hard. Kevin Miller, so he needs to. The group needs to make up for some of that tenacity that we're missing. Even Johnny Moore on the PK is a big part of that. So certain guys have to step up, and for Charlie, he's got the ability to do that. That's why we trust him with a lot of minutes. And you hope he gets to the point where he can do it consistently every night. That's when you go from being good to elite. That's what we're hoping for. We've had a few of those young guys do that. Hopefully he's next.
How important has Dan's defensive game been to what you guys are doing 5-on-5?
Well, he's always been good there, and I think it helps when he moves up to play with Berge and Marsh. He's playing against, I'm going to say most nights it'll be in this particular series, it would be 3 and 8 for Columbus that are a threat offensively, as well as good shutdown guys. So it's important that he's good away from the puck. I think it's led to him being better offensively. I think his numbers his puck touches and opportunities are better because of that. But it's what's kept the trust in the staff and kept him in the lineup through stretches where maybe it didn't go as well offensively. So that's what he brings. And listen, this time of year you got to bring it, what you do best, or you won't last.
Maybe it's been overshadowed a little because of the way Bobrovsky has been playing, but overall, just what do you think of what Tuukka has done and keeping you in games and the way he's played?
I think Tuukka's been solid every night. If we could go through all 10 games. There's probably a few goals here or there we're going to critique and say, well, this one could have been better. But overall, general play, I think he's been rock solid. He's one of the reasons we're still playing. Right now, we need him to be probably as solid as he can be until we start getting to the back of the net. You know, there's some 1-1 games out there, and we got to be content. That's where this team has to not stray tonight. If we're not able to get it behind Bobrovsky for whatever reason, whether we're not generating enough, whether we're not getting puck luck, whether he's on his, playing really well, we got to be able to stay in the game until we get goals, and that's where our mentality has to be. I think last year it was a learning curve for us. The guys that were here, that's where we got away from it a bit. We got to be comfortable in those games early on. If it's not going in, stay in the game, stick around. Because I just think eventually, I think Carlos said it yesterday, however he described it, I just think we're going to score because we have good players that will score eventually. Will it be tonight? I hope so. I hope it's right away. Guys start feeling good about themselves, but if it's not, we got to stay in the game. And that falls on Tuukka a lot, but our whole defensive game, I think it's been very good. So to go to your question, rock solid, and we're going to need it, just because we're not scoring as much as we'd like.
You touched on this with Joe, but if Kevin Miller is part of your six in this particular series, what's his impact on the whole six, and what's his impact along with the forwards as well?
Well, we'd assume his impact would be, because it's a physical series, that he would be a guy that's going to punch back or push back, matches up well against the Folignos, the Anderson, that type of line. So we missed that element. Connor Clifton's just not 215 pounds. He's playing hard. He's a competitive guy. He just doesn't have that. So that's what we miss the most, that matchup piece against those bigger bodies. Net front on the PK. He's real good at tying up hands. They've scored 2 goals on second chances. Whether he could eliminate some of that, but that would be part of his job description. So that's where he's missed right now. But he's not here, so I hate to do the what-if game, but I guess I brought it up, so that is what we're missing from him. Well, not so much the puck moving. I think he's solid, but Clifton can get it up. How it would impact the forwards? Maybe you feel you have a little more room out there because you got Kevin. That's a physical presence, but I don't think they're concerned about that. I don't see either team looking over their shoulder at all. I just see two teams playing hard, competing for every foot of ice out there.